Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to trade price action and all you need to know about it. So let's get started with the video. So first of all, why is price action important? Well, it provides us with the most accurate information about who is in control for the day. It's going to tell us exactly if we're having buyers in control, are we having indecision in the market, is it the sellers who are in control, are we gathering more liquidity for buyers maybe? Is it going to be more of a, an up and down market? Are we going to have consolidation? Are we going to have a trending market? It's so much information that we get from the price action that it's really valuable to us, and it's so important that you guys understand it. It's the best indicator out there combined with your eyes, meaning that I always say your eyes are your best indications, but because of price action, right? Your eyes can see price action. That's why I say your eyes are the best indicators. Simply because price action is the only thing out there, guys, that actually tells us what is going on right now. Every single second, price action is telling us what is going on right now. Any indicator out there is always lagging, meaning they need to summon up the information that happened in the past with what is going on in the present. And then once the move has already occurred and happened, that's when you get a buy or sell signal from the markets. And that's usually, from the indicators. And that's usually when it's too late to enter the markets. That's why, so many great traders who actually use indicators for their trading use indicators for confluence, but they look at price action first and foremost because they know that indicators are lagging and they need to be able to enter the market before. Usually people who use indicators, now I'm talking about professional traders, keep that in mind, and banks of course. When they use indicators, they simply buy before the indicator has said or giving them a buy signal, and then once the indicator gives them a buy signal, it gives them the confidence to hold the trade basically. That's how they use indicators. Just as a second confirm, just to continue holding their trade, instead of just scalping, maybe they turn it to a swing and stuff like that. That's similarly what you want to use the EMAs for example, or the simple moving averages. Price action is also very, very easy to understand. You can teach this to a 6-year-old kid if you want to. It's going to be colorful price action, but what I'm saying is that it's very, very simple. You can teach it to basically anyone, and it's the most powerful tool that you want to have in your arsenal. Intelligent individual tends to love trading price action, and I have had so many conversations with I would call them high vibration people who are very successful, and we always talk about price action and how important it is, even when you compare it to making long-term holdings when it comes to stocks. Even when you look for real estate investments, price action can tell you so much just looking at a chart. What is going on, who has been in control, who is going to take charge. It's so much valuable information that I just can't get enough of it, right? I have so much positive things to talk about when it comes to price action. And also, guys, I always tell you that you want to do what the big boys are doing, right? You want to follow the big money, not the small money. You want to go where the big boys are going, the people who have deep pockets, who move the markets, who are in charge, who have that inside information. We want to follow them. The only way we can do it is by looking at price action, because that is the only clue they leave us every single day, right? They give us the clue by giving us a big bullish candle, for example. That's telling us enough, right? That we have a lot of buy orders gathered at the same time. So price is going to go up because of the big boys. They're moving the markets. They're giving, or they're entering with so much money that the market has to move, right? So here we have a bearish engulfing candle. And what you will see straight out the bat is, for example, you can see we have a top wick, right? And we have a bottom wick. Usually when you have a bearish engulfing candle, you don't want to have a wick, right? You just want it to be a complete candle with no wicks. But I'm here to give you, the reality about how the chart looks like 90% of the time, 80% of the time, and you're always going to have wicks, So remember that these are just small rejections. What you want to focus on is actually the size of the candle, the size of the body of the candle. So how many times bigger is the body compared to the wicks? Is it at least 6 times bigger? Good. Then it's still a bearish engulfing candle. Is it 5 times bigger? Good. It's still a bearish engulfing candle. So keep that in mind, guys. A lot of people don't talk about the bearish engulfing candles with the wick, so it's good that you guys understand it. Just pay attention to the size of the body. This is basically the body, right? The bigger it is, the better, okay? And you want to have as small wicks as possible to either sides, preferably as small as possible. In this scenario, this is a perfect candle. This is like a textbook candle that you want to find for a bearish engulfing, because like I said, most of the times it's not going to be presented without wicks, okay? So when you see this candle, basically the information you're being provided is that there's so much selling pressure going on, okay? There's so much selling pressure. For example, at the bottom we had buyers trying to push price up. We had buyers trying to push price up, but it got pushed down because the sellers came in at this area and pushed price down. Price closed at this area. That's why the candle is so bearish. We started up here, we closed down here, okay? So there has been so many orders coming in, so many sell orders, that the market is now being very pressured. When you see this on the higher time frames, for example, the monthly, when you see it on the weekly, when you see it on the daily, because it's the higher time frames, it basically summons up everything that happened for the whole day, for the whole week, or for the whole month. So it's very easy to anticipate what is going to happen the next day, what is going to happen the next week, or what is going to happen the next month, just by looking at one candle. All right, and then of course you need to make sure that you put together the confluences with the zone, premium price areas, price action, structure, and so on and so forth. But price action is the first thing you want to look at because it's the present. Remember that it's the information we get provided today, what we have right now in front of us. Okay, so the bearish engulfing candle basically tells us, okay, if the day has closed like this, if the weekly has closed like this, the next day we're gonna hunt sells. We're gonna look for bearish structure. We're gonna look for bearish momentum. We're gonna look for premium price resistant areas so we can sell from those areas, right? Because the daily candle is being very bearish. We're having an engulfing candle. We know there's a lot of sell orders. That's where we want to enter. Make sense? Let's continue. Alright guys, here we have the bullish engulfing candle, as you can see, and it's so similar to the bearish engulfing candle. It basically tells us everything but the opposite, meaning there's so many buyers in control. We have so much buying pressure going on in the market. If it happens on the higher time frames, like I said, the monthly, weekly, and daily, it basically summons up everything that happened for that day, week, or month, meaning it's so easy for us to anticipate what is going to happen in the future, what is going to happen the next day, next week, next month. And then it's up to you to make sure that you perform a perfect top-down analysis after you have your price action clue, right? So what you want to do is you look at the bullish engulfing candle, you see that it's bullish. Now it's time to go down to the lower time frames, plot that structure, make sure you get that bullish structure confirmed, because then you have two confluences. You have the daily closing bullish, and you have the lower time frame structure moving in a bullish manner. So you're getting two confluences, very high probability. Make sure you enter that trade. Here we have the doji. Doji is a very powerful pattern because it's basically showing us rejection to two sides, right? It's basically telling us indecision. The market tried to go up, but it was forced down. It closed with a small body, meaning there's not so much power in, but it also tells us the clue depending on the color of the doji. For example, we have a red doji printed here in front of us. It's a bearish doji because it's red, right? If it closed green, it would be a bullish doji, meaning that there's still a little bit of buyer pressure at the end when the candle closed. But I don't want you guys to focus on that. When you see a doji, no matter the color, okay, it's still indecision, okay? Because we don't want any last minute savings when it comes to price action. That doesn't work here, okay? When it comes to trading, you gotta make sure you got that 80% probability, or else it's gonna be, you know, a hell. So make sure that when you have a doji printed in front of you, make sure you wait for the next candle to develop and close, okay? Because the doji is so powerful when you know how to use it. Because here's the thing. For example, if price comes to a support, imagine this now. If price comes to a support and in your head you want to see a bullish confirm, right? We want to see a bullish engulfing candle bouncing off of that support. We want to see a shooting star pattern with a big wick, something that is showing us a sign of rejection, right? But if you see a doji being printed in front of it, in front of the zone now, and then after the doji you get a bearish engulfing candle, that's telling you so much information. What is it telling you? It's telling you that we're about to break the support. Why? Because the first rejection we had was a doji, meaning indecision. And think common sense now, guys. At a support zone, the last thing you want to see is indecision, right? You want to know who the hell is in charge. Where are the buyers? Why aren't they coming in? And the doji is telling you that there's no buyers, there's no sellers. Basically, there's indecision. And because it's a support zone, and then you wait for the next candle, because the next candle is going to tell you exactly who is going to be in power for the rest of the next candle. Okay? When you get that bearish engulfing candle after the doji being printed at a support, feel free to take the sell, because now you can take a breakout trade before waiting for the retest, for example. Makes sense? So dojis are very, very important. That's why I wanted to include them in this video. The hammer candle is basically a shooting star but inverted, right? So a hammer candle, as you guys can see by the size of the wick, it's at least 3 times bigger than the body, so it's showing a very, very big sign of rejection. In this scenario, for example, I took this with purpose. I took a green one because here you can see we have a rejection, but it closed green. Okay, and a lot of people think that, okay, because it closed green it's still bullish, but that's wrong. Okay, when the wick is at least 3 times bigger than the candle's body, it's showing you rejection. Okay, because you have to think about it. Price moved all the way up here, and then there was so much selling pressure coming up at this area that price pushed down all the way down here, and then we came to a small premium price area that pushed price up a little bit, right? But you can still see who is in control. But when you have a hammer, it's so important that the hammer has to occur on a zone, and I'm going to show you guys with chart examples, so don't worry. But it's so important that the hammer is going to occur at a zone, so you can make sure that you understand, is it being a rejection or not. If you see a hammer candle being printed in the middle of a zone, meaning that there's still 50 pips to go to the nearest resistance, for example, this wick is now going to be a wick fill. It's a continuation pattern. So I'm trying to give you guys the information that when you get the price action, it's so important that you understand also market structure. You got to understand what is going on in the markets. How is the charts looking? You need to have an in-depth knowledge about everything when it comes to trading to be able to read price action in the right manner, so to say, with the right reasons. When you see a hammer candle, like I said, it's not only a rejection, it could be a wick fill also, depending on where it is located right now in the charts when you see it. Okay, same here, we have an inverted doji, basically the same doji as we had before, but here you can see instead of having the candle body at the top, we have it on the bottom. This is basically just telling us a little bit more about the pressure. Basically the pressure here is that the close was even weaker. Okay, the close was even weaker, and we closed below. So we closed lower than the other doji, meaning we have more selling pressure. For example, if it was the inverted for example, if it closed bullish, it would still tell us that there's more selling pressure. If the candle closed a little bit higher, like it did on the other doji, it's telling us indecision, but it's telling us more of a bullish pressure in that scenario. And usually this doji, I just want to show you guys, this one is usually presented at a support. This one is usually presented at a resistance, for example. Okay. Here we have the famous shooting star. There's two kinds of shooting stars. You have this one when the wicks are 3 times bigger than the body, similar to the hammer, like I said. And then you have this kind of a shooting star. In my opinion, this one is more powerful than this one, because this one is just telling us that, sure, we had some pressure coming up, but you need to most of the time have this kind of pattern very close to a support, for example, for it to be very high probability. But when you see this kind of pattern, you can use this price action confirm for continuation movements. You can use it for breakout movements. You can use it for anticipating a bullish run, for example. You can use this price action to anticipate news movements. So it's so much information you can get from this candle. This one is more telling you about rejection. not so much about continuation, for example, but this one does. So that's good to know the difference about that. So let's look at a few chart examples. So I just want to show you guys that here you can see that we have so many rejections at this area. So first we want to plot out the zone, of course, right? And then let's just make sure if I can make this a little bit less transparent. There we go. So here you can see, guys, that we have the zone plotted, right? We have the zone plotted. I want you guys to keep an eye out on what is going on in the markets. Look at the candles now. So you have a doji, as I said, showing rejection. Coming up, another doji showing rejection. Another doji, another shooting star. But as you can see, we had that wick to the upside showing indecision, right? Showing indecision. We come down with the bearish. See now what I mean? When you have this bearish close, the next candle is going to give you the information that you want to take a sell. Here you can see that the market dropped. Okay? Another confirm you get. Look now when you have a breakout, look at all these wicks to the zone. See now that you have a breakout, you had this retest, and now it's giving you the confirm that, hey man, I am rejecting this zone. We broke it and I'm still rejecting it, so I'm going to continue down. And as you guys can see, you have all these wicks to the upside. Okay? So what do you think is the most powerful? The small wicks here on the bottom showing for a bullish run, or that the price did this now? Think common sense now, guys. We broke out of a support. What does the market always want to do after it breaks a support? It wants to do a retest, right? Like, it works like a magnetic field. It wants to do a retest, and then it wants to bounce away from it. It wants to reject it, because then it can continue its movement. Because why price makes a retest, guys, is because it's gathering orders, okay? When you have the breakout, the market needs to push up because there's so many traders in here that are still having pending orders. They tried to sell, but they couldn't after the breakout. So now their orders are stuck up here. So what does the price has to move? It has to move upwards. It has to gather those orders. It has to fill them so it then can continue the movement. Because how else are you going to make money, right? You got to think about the big boys here. Okay? Then you see that you have this rejection in confluence with that. We just had a breakout. We have a retest at a support turn resistance. And we have a lot of wicks being printed. Right? So it gives you so much information just by looking at the price action. And together with premium price zone in this example, for as you can see. So it's very, very powerful. Okay, guys? So I want to show you another example as well. Here, for example. So let's plot out a zone again. So we have a resistance right here, correct? Let's draw it out. Okay, let's make it a little bit transparent so you guys can see it. Here again, see now, we have a breakout. We come down. We are starting to do the retest. But as you can see, we are not getting a good price action confirmed until we see this candle. The shooting star pattern, as you can see. And like I said, I prefer them to be a little bit bigger in the candle size body. Why? Because as you can see, what happens with the next candle, it's going to go up. It's going to go up harder. So as you can see, the price action confirms are so important and so easy to use, especially when you use them on the higher time frame, guys. I can promise you, you're going to be very consistently as a trader if you only use this combined with my market structure and top-down analysis, everything I teach you, and using this on the higher time frame, you're gonna have no problem making money. Okay, it's I don't know really how to explain it, but it's so powerful. I think that's the right word to put it. It's just so powerful. When you learn to read price action, trading is gonna become not like a puzzle, but it's gonna become more like you're a detective. It's gonna get fun, you know. It's like you're solving a crime or something. Okay. I had to show you guys this picture. Look at the size of the wick. When you see something like this, guys, this is usually news events. Okay, this is usually when we have news events. We're having high impact news. Prices moving up really, really fast. This is a matter of 30 seconds. This wick that was being created goes up, takes in so many orders, and then it just pushes down. When you see a close like this, guys, don't aim for a wick fill. All you have to do, wait for that next candle confirm. If it's bearish, take a sell. If it's bullish, take a buy. It's very, very simple. The bigger the wick, the harder the rejection is going to be, the higher the probability that price is going to reverse, okay? Because as you can see, all these buyers got really defeated by the sellers. I mean, look at the pressure. It's super hard. So when you see scenarios like this, wait for that second candle confirmation, because you want to know, is the rejection being bullish or bearish? Because like I said, wicks can also be wick fills. Okay, it's still a footprint. If we did have a bullish candle after this that closed bullish engulfing, it's going to want to fill the rest of the wick, because this is the footprint. We were here, buyers came in, they took a second chance, they took out the selling pressure, now they want to fill the area that they tried to go before. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's going to be beneficial to every single one of you. And yeah, see you guys in my next video. Take care.